Okay, pleasure to be here. The question that's always bothered me every year, this question keeps on coming back, is we all know that we eat matzah on Leil Seder, right? Why do we eat matzah on Leil Seder? Torah says. Why do we eat matzah on Where does the Torah say?
What is that?
Bavur says, okay.
Shivat Yamim.
So the Torah says, because Bavur says you left Egypt, you were in a haste. You didn't have a chance to go ahead and bake your, big loaves of bread, so you had to go ahead and you were stuck eating matzah. So therefore, we commemorate that every year, and we eat matzah. Two problems with this. Number one, Rabbi Shor is telling me, he's like, this is craziness, right? We were already commanded before we left Egypt to go ahead and eat matzah on that night. So what are you telling me? It's because we were running out, right? Wasn't that the whole plan? That's number one. Number two, which is even a little bit more problematic, is we already had an issue of eating chametz. So what exactly were you planning on baking on that night that they were rushing out? Right? This second kasha is so strong that the Ramban himself says that when the pasuk says, that one, right? In Shemot, "Vayafu et habatzek asher hotziu mimitzrayim ugod matzot ki lo chametz ki goshu mimitzrayim v'lo yachlu litmameh v'gam seda lo asu lahem." They went out with their dough. They were forced out. Ugod matzot, because it didn't become chametz. Why? Because they were rushed out and they didn't have any time. They couldn't delay. They were rushed out. So the Ramban says. One second. Don't think that they were rushed out. They didn't have any time, and therefore that's why they had matzah. Of course, they were eating They were going to eat matzah because they had an isser of eating chametz. So what does the pasuk mean? They didn't have time to go ahead and bake their bread. Sorry, they break their matzah. So they left with piles of dough, like bags full of dough that they were gonna. And they didn't have time to bake the matzah. But God forbid that they were going to make bread, chametz. Are you kidding? It's kares. I mean, the obvious question is how did it not turn to chametz? No? What do you think? If you're leaving with bags of dough, you just leave it in your bags. How long does it take you to get from Israel? Sorry, not from Israel. From Mitzrayim, Lahavdil, to Sukkot. Right, how long is it going to take you? It's going to take you. Your dough is going to turn into chametz. They deal with it. They had to, constantly knead it. All these things, terutzim. But the kasha is a pretty difficult kasha. Does that bother anyone here? Nobody? Rabbi Shor told me before he knew to sleep over this. So hopefully tonight you'll sleep like a baby. Rabbi Z is laughing because he knows how babies really sleep. They don't sleep well.
Klala.
So I think there's actually, I think perhaps we can understand that there's really two aspects of matzah. Right? There's the matzah that we had to go ahead and that we ate because we were rushed out. Right? We left Chipazon, they rushed us out. They said, "Get out of here," Ramban aside. And then there's the matzah that we were commanded that you have to eat on this night. Right? That Hashem told us already beforehand, you're going to eat the matzah on this night. And these two aspects of the matzah are, is the bread of affliction and the bread of freedom, which we constantly refer to as the matzah as a bread of affliction and bread of freedom. The whole night, the whole Seder night is really as a night of affliction and a night of freedom, right? Many of you guys, we're learning about Chabura in the back. We're learning about the Arba Kosa, right? What do the Arba Kosa represent? Taiji. What do they represent?
Wine.
What? The 4 cups of wine. What do they represent?
It's the different parts of freedom.
Right. So why do we lean by 2 and not for? Why do we originally supposed to lean for 2? Okay. What Taiji means to say is that there are 2 cups that we lean for freedom, and the 2 that we lean for affliction. Machloket, in the Gemara, which ones we're supposed to lean for. So we lean for all 4, but really 2 of them are supposed to represent freedom, and 2 of them are supposed to represent affliction. This is a theme that constantly comes over and over again within the Seder night, within the Haggadah, of this duality, this back and forth between affliction and freedom. I think this comes back to really what the night is about. The night has a duality within it itself, right? I'm asking this. What holiday is coming up? Boys, easy questions. What holiday?
Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yom Ha'atzmaut. Excellent. Before Yom Ha'atzmaut? Pesach. Even before Pesach? Sorry, no Pesach. Okay, there's really two holidays. We refer to it as Pesach. How long is Pesach?
One day. A couple hours.
Just not even a day. One day. Not even a day. All this life you've been, what do you mean? I haven't been eating chametz for so long, and now it's only one day. The truth is that in the Torah, if you look at the actual Torah, look at the five books of Moses, as they say, Chag HaPesach, this always refers to what? Refers to the 14th of Nisan, the day that you're actually bringing. It's Chag HaPesach, the holiday of
the Korban Pesach.
The Korban Pesach. Right? On the 14th, you're bringing the Korban Pesach, and that itself is a holiday. When does that holiday start? It starts at Chatzot on the afternoon, and it goes until the evening. What's the next holiday after Chag HaPesach?
Chag HaMatzot.
Chag HaMatzot. Chag HaMatzot starts when?
Not evening. Say it.
You gotta be careful here. 15th at night, right? And goes until the 21st. Okay, there are these two holidays. There's Chag HaMatzot and there's Chag HaPesach. And there's something amazing, or opposite way around, but there's something amazing that happens. There's an overlap between these two holidays. When is that? When is that?
Shkia.
Not Beit Mashos.
Shkia.
More better than that, much longer.
Seder.
The whole Seder, the whole night. Right? As Beit Mashos comes, now you have Shkia. Now you have a whole nother 6 hours of Chag HaMatzot and Chag HaPesach, and Chag HaMatzot just started. So you have this overlap of the two holidays of Chag HaMatzot and Chag HaPesach, which are overlapping. What's Chag HaPesach? What happens with Chag HaPesach? What are we commemorating every year? The Korban Pesach. When did we bring the Korban Pesach? How was it? What was that experience like? Put yourself back in Egypt. What was it like? It was geschmack? I assure you it was not geschmack. Boys, let me paint the picture. Let me set the scene. Okay? God goes ahead and says, listen, I got this great idea. I want you to go ahead and take all these goats, okay? By the way, the Egyptians worship them, okay? Minor problem. I don't want you to slaughter them. Right? Well, before that, I want you to go ahead and take it and you're going to tie it to your bedpost for like 14 days before. The Egyptians might ask you, like, just, hanging out. Then I want you to slaughter it, and I want you to take the blood and like smear it all over your doorboard, like man, on occasion, right? Just smear it there and be like, here is your God, all right? And then I want you to go inside and I want you to eat it. It'll all be all right, right? It's geschmack still. I'd be terrified. I would be absolutely petrified of what's going to happen. Okay, and the pasuk says, "You have to be dressed, ready to go." Why are you ready to go? What? You have no idea what's happening. You don't know what's going on. God's telling you to do this. You haven't seen Prince of Egypt yet. Okay? You don't know what's going to happen. You're ready to go. You got your staff. You're eating it in a chipazon. You're eating it in a haste, in a hurry. You know why? Because you're scared to death. It's like a schmuck. You don't know what's going to happen. Like anything, the Egyptians could be bursting in. You don't know what's going down. Pesach Hulasham. This is the Pesach. This type of chipazon is you're eating it and you're terrified. You're eating it because you don't know what's going to happen. You're eating it because you might have to run any second. They might be barging in. Yeah. Okay. Bad. Now, there's another. The truth is, there's 2 times chipazon are mentioned in the entire 5 books of Moses. Here and also by Pesach, right? In Devarim, when it says lo tochal alav chametz shavat yamim tochal alav matzot lechem oni ki chipazon yatzatem me'eretz Mitzrayim. You have to go ahead and, as Rabbi Meir said before, you have to go ahead and eat the chametz. Not the chametz. Don't eat chametz. Eat the matzah because you were left in a chipazon. What's this chipazon? You're being rushed out of Egypt. Right? This is the glorious scene in Prince of Egypt where they're leaving and they're all like happy and they got the kids and they're dancing with them. Right? I'm sure it wasn't as that. But this is a chipazon of excitement. This is a chipazon of we're going out in a parade. This is a chipazon as we're finally reached freedom. Right? Even in the chipazon that the matzah represents, there are 2 aspects to it. Right? The chipazon that we ate the Korban Pesach was it was a lechem oni. It was one of, we were terrified. There was horror going on. We didn't know what it was going to be. That's the avdut. And the chipazon in Devarim, that's a chipazon of freedom. Right? Chag HaPesach, which is a carbon Pesach, is where we were still avadim. We didn't get yet our freedom. The Pesach offering was our inauguration into becoming the nation of Am Yisrael. But it was a terrifying moment. If you were there, you didn't yet see what the ending was. It was a terrifying moment where you had to really take that leap of faith, and it was hard. Right? That's Chag HaPesach, even though it's commemorating our birth as a nation. It's representing where we came from first as Avdut. Chag HaMatzot, which is as we leave, and now we're starting because they're leaving, and now that carries on for 7 days. That is the bread of freedom. And the interesting thing is that they're not two separate breads. It's one bread that happened on one night. And on this one night, as we commemorate the birth of our nation and us leaving Egypt, we're putting them both together. And what are we saying? We're saying that they go hand in hand. You can't have one within the other. Right? That the whole situation is complex, and it's supposed to be complex. If you want freedom, you're going to have to know what slavery tastes like. Right? And they go hand in hand. And only a nation that really understands what it means to be in Egypt, to be at the bottom of the bottom, can ever really become what Hashem had planned. To go eventually to go to Har Sinai, to go enter Eretz Yisrael, right? To be a light amongst the nations. Only a nation who went through the Holocaust can understand what genocide means in our generation, right? It's the bread of affliction and it's the bread of freedom all together. And it's that complexity which the Leil Seder is about the 4 cups of wine. 2 of them are supposed to be about redemption. 2 of them are supposed to be about slavery. And which are which? The point is every single cup is they're intertwined. It's a complexity that we're commemorating and we take with us every day. So this this Pesach, maybe this is another chumrah. Add it to the chumrah list, okay? Not 5 kazetim or 2 kazetim. You have to have a couple kazetim of the bread of affliction and a couple kazetim of the bread of freedom. And we should all truly understand and take that complexity with us throughout our lives.